You guys are amazing. Good morning. My name's Jen Lyons. Hi, everybody. There's so much love in this room. Even up there, way up there. So, the theme for 2025 is Rising Higher, Growing Deeper. The theme for August is On the Wings of Love. And today's topic is the launch of love. Launching love. This month, we launch into a deeper experience and exploration of love. By the way, that's my favorite energy, just to let you know. Ernest Holmes wrote, "If we would look for a God of love, we must look long and deeply into each other. We must look away from the differences until we penetrate into the unity of the whole. Love alone reveals love. Hate but hides the gleam." And Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, "The Buddha taught that it is possible to live 24 hours a day in a state of love. Every moment, every glance, every thought, and every word can be infused with love." So let us affirm together. Let's make this solid, because it is solid inside. I am amazed by my journey in love today. Hot doggies. All right. So we can all go home now. Just kidding. I want to welcome Reverend Dr. Kathleen Johnson.
Okay. So let's launch into love with some ideas that kids have about love. You ready? Yeah. Okay. This is from May, age 9. She said, "No one is sure why it happens, but I heard it has something to do with how you smell. That's why perfume and deodorant are so popular." And this is from Greg, age 8. He says, "Love is the most important thing in the world, but baseball is pretty good too." Anita, age 9. "When somebody's been dating for a while, the boy must propose to the girl. He says to her, 'I'll take you for a whole life, or at least until we have kids and get divorced.'" Kids are amazing. And then this last one from Kenny, age 7. "It gives me a headache to think about all that stuff. I'm just a kid. I don't need that kind of trouble." So we're going to get into some good trouble with love today and this entire month. Ernest Holmes, in the teachings, this is actually in the opening chapter of Science of Mind, speaks that the essence of the teachings of Science of Mind are that there is love and there is law, love and law. And we do talk a lot about both, actually, about the importance of love, because love is the impulse that is behind the new ideas and the words and the thoughts that we have when we call it into being, and that gets planted into the universal law automatically, and then becomes the creative expression that we experience in our lives. So love and law working hand in hand. And this month, of course, we're focusing on love. The most important thing in the world, according to Greg, age 8. So love's nature. Why is love so important to continue to focus on? Why doesn't it just happen naturally? Well, we live in this world where we have all kinds of choices. And a lot of the things that we may be exposed to in the media and so on may not feel like that presence of love. And so that's why it's important to keep it alive in our hearts. To keep it alive in our hearts and to not only keep it alive, but do our best to keep it expanding, because love is an expansive energy. And so because we have freedom of choice, we have the power of intention, just take a moment right now and intend for yourself to keep love alive and to keep it expanding in your heart. Just take a moment. And so why is this so important? This is so important because it will yield deeper and kinder connections. It will yield a more compassionate world. We will be contributing to something really wonderful in the world, something amazing. Love is amazing. Love is amazing in terms of what it does to our hearts and to everyone that we touch. So I love that concept of Buddha, his teachings, that we can infuse every thought, word, and action with love, and do this 24/7. Like even in our dreams, even in our dreams, we can set the intention to be infusing our dreams with love, 24/7. And so this whole month is dedicated to love, but today in particular, we're focusing on ways to infuse everything that we do, say, think, etc., with love, to be love infusers. Say with me, I am a love infuser. I am infused with love. All right. So, Thich Nhat Hanh, in his book called Teachings on Love, presents 4 immeasurable minds, is what he calls it. These are 4 practices, 4 states of mind that can be developed that all contribute to our being an expanded presence of love in the world, to contributing to the good on the planet, to being a beneficial presence. 4 immeasurable minds is what he calls it. So that we'll be talking about what those 4 immeasurable minds are today. And Thich Nhat Hanh lets us know that, and of course we know this because we've been doing this for a while, that when we practice these 4 immeasurable minds, which are ways to practice love, that it heals the illness of anger, sorrow, insecurity, sadness, hatred, loneliness, and unhealthy attachments. The whole 9 yards. Everything can be healed with this energy called love. First one, the first immeasurable mind is loving kindness. Loving kindness. That was one of the key things that came through the vision of the 4 founders of the spiritual community. Candace, Michelle, 2 of them are right here in the audience today. Candace, Michelle, and Amy, who's no longer with us. She transitioned some time ago. But the 4 of us, loving kindness was a really important value, really important part of the expression of the spiritual community, and it's continued to be throughout all of these years, and for that I am so grateful. Loving kindness is the desire to offer happiness to self and others. The desire to offer happiness to self and others. So a way to practice that is through the power of our word, right? So what Thich Nhat Hanh recommends is starting with, may I experience loving kindness. May you experience loving kindness. May all beings experience loving kindness. Let's turn to someone and practice that now. So first of all, say, may I experience loving kindness. May you experience loving kindness. And may all beings experience loving kindness. Beautiful. The first way to extend and expand that love. The second one is compassion, the desire to free self and others from suffering. And so when we see suffering, and that includes ourselves, self-compassion is huge. It's really important. When we see someone suffering or we experience ourselves suffering, we can say, may my struggle and suffering pass soon. So say that with me. May my suffering and, may my struggle and suffering pass soon. Okay, find someone else. Just make eye contact with them. May your struggling and suffering pass soon. And may all beings experience, may all beings, may all beings struggling and suffering pass soon. Right. So we have loving kindness, we have compassion, and the next one is, I love this, sympathetic joy. So it's not just joy, but it's joy, wanting to extend joy to others. It's another aspect of love. And so it's the desire to bring joy to others and then to feel happiness in their joy. Right? So it's wanting to share that joy. Not just about me, it's about sharing the joy, sympathetic joy. So it's beginning the day by asking the question, who needs my joy today? Who needs my joy today? And the last one is equanimity. I love this word. I love this word. Equanimity. The ability to remain composed, calm, and balanced even in the face of challenges. The ability to remain composed, calm, and balanced even in the face of challenges. And it's a pathway to achieving peace. So it's about accepting situations as they unfold rather than as you would like them to be. And acceptance does not mean resignation. It does not mean that we just give up, oh well, that's the way it is. It's about saying, okay, this is the way it is. I'm keeping my heart open and opening therefore to guidance, divine wisdom, creative solution. So do you see what this does, this idea of acceptance, is that it opens the possibility for continued creation and contribution to the energy of love to the situation. It gets us out of that energy of judgment and resistance to what is. Byron Katie calls it loving what is. Loving what is. And therefore, when we keep our hearts open, the flow of creative thought and guidance is available to us. Equanimity is the feeling of all is well that we talk about in this teaching. It's the feeling of the knowing that life is working for us despite what's happening in our lives. Life is working for me. Say that with me. Life is working for me despite the appearances. Right. So equanimity. So here's a way to practice that. And this, again, if you're going to have equanimity, it's about trust and faith, right? That everything's working together for good. So it can be some sort of statement like, at this moment, I trust the process of life. Say that with me. At this moment, I trust the process of life. And let's breathe. And many of you know that my sister has purchased a house up here in Delaware in Hershey Run. That's over in the Newport area. And looking forward to moving. And that she is selling her house, which we're knowing that it is sold. And so that process of buying and selling houses has been on the minds of our family for quite some time now, since February. And so it's a continued practice of bringing my attention back to faith and trust that's all is unfolding. And I'm also participating in creation by seeing it as sold, by praying with my sister, with Michelle, and with my prayer partners. It's about continually keeping my mind in that state of equanimity so that I can be open and receptive to how things are unfolding. So you may have something that you're working on. What is it that you are working on to maintain equanimity? Think about that. So again, equanimity, to remain composed, calm, and balanced in the face of challenges. Isn't that beautiful? That's like, to me, one of the ultimate goals of being the presence of love for me, is being in that state so I can be available. So I have a closing story that I'd like to share with you. And as I tell the story, I'd like you to look for those 4 different aspects of love, or the 4 immeasurable minds, as Thich Nhat Hanh calls them. And remember, they're loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. This is a true story. At Morse High School in Bath, Maine, students get to have a unique way of serving detention after school. Their counselor, her name is Leslie Trundy, understands that in order to help students change their mindset, that love is required. This goes back to a basic teaching. This comes out of A Course in Miracles, but it's there is either love or a call for love. There's either love or a call for love. And so she understands that these students misbehaving in class are calling for love. So what does she do? She has this unique idea. She loves to hike, and she knows the healing power of the outdoors. So for their detention, they lace up their boots, and they go on a 2-hour hike with her. 2-hour hike through the woods in Maine for after-school detention. Of course, some parents don't want their kids to participate in that because they think it's not the right kind of punishment these kids should have. But many others do. And so this is in the early stages. She's been doing this just for a short time, but she says she's seeing signs already of change in the students who've come to detention. And why? Think about what happens on a hike. Being in the present moment with nature, and nature's so healing. Time to reflect. And Leslie sees that as a time to listen to them deeply, to what their concerns are, what's going on in their lives, to have a listening ear, to have a compassionate presence in their lives. And she says, my hope is that during the time in the woods, I could not only be a compassionate listener, but they can serve their consequence and receive more care and attention. Isn't that beautiful? So this is an experiment in love. And so one of the things that came out of this, which is so beautiful, is not only changes in classroom behavior and a greater sense of well-being for these students, but one of the students said, on these hikes, you can find yourself. I guess finding yourself in a forest is easier than in the city. Isn't that beautiful? So love, all of the many faces of love, the elements of love, the four immeasurable minds. What a great way to launch into love, don't you think? Okay, let's turn within in prayer. Knowing that right here, right now, in this moment, love has a home within each and every one of us. For our hearts and our beings are the very home of the divine. That divine presence that uplifts, supports, extends, offers sustenance, and expresses in, through, and as us, knowing we are amazing contributors to the expansion and expression of love on this planet. I know as each of us move through this day and move through this week and move through this month, this idea of being infused with love and infusing our thoughts, words, and actions in love is with us, is on our minds and in our hearts, in our intentions. And so, yes, we are doing amazing things. We are making a difference in our lives and in the lives of everyone we touch. So I'm so grateful for this clarity and this knowing, and I release this word to the action of universal law, knowing that it is fulfilled. And I invite us to accept it with a powerful yes, and so it is. Thank you, my friends. And now Sharon and the Spirit Band.